Um,
At least my nose is like stopping running. I caught wild, crazy allergies today. Fucking damn weather changing and stupid fucking Earth. My fault, Earth.
Mother Earth.
My fault, Earth.
Mother Earth always wins.
Word. Big facts. Salutations, everyone.
hold on, I just gotta fix this thing real quick. So
We're already live, buddy.
Oh, we're live.
Salutations. Hello, everybody. This is Perspectives. We are your hosts. My name is Liddy.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, hey.
There it is.
You know what? We started again. All right. Welcome. Salutations. This is our show, Perspectives. We are your hosts, Liddy Bro FLACKO, Holden Stefan Roy. Say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
And today our guest is none other than veteran, legendary battle rapper from Boston, Xcel.
What up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, FLACKO? What's good, Holden? You know, Team Homie.
I like that. Like right off the jump.
So yeah, check it, Xcel. Like this is right. So like our show, right? It started because I was doing like the Liddy Bros album, like rollout and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. And the engineer for that volume 1 is a homie from Montreal, and he mixed down the album, and you know he's from Montreal, the homie Merker Miyagi, Merker Studios. He might as well. He's from Montreal, right? Well, Cali originally, but he's from Montreal. But like, he might as well be a New Yorker. Cause like he's real smart and slick with his engineering, where like he engineers a lot of people, so he don't promote anybody's shit. That way he doesn't have to promote anybody's shit. You know what I mean? Right. He promoted our shit, right? And that got the homie Holden's attention, right? Because he's like, "What? Merker never promotes anybody. Like, the fuck is this?" And what's a Liddy Bros? You know?
Facts.
He goes, checks out the music. Hits us. Actually, and you know,
he said on the caption, "This is the closest thing I've been to partying in New York all night, etc., without actually going." And I said, "That's a caption."
Yeah. Super, like the super plug. And so Holden checked out the music, and then he like told us like he wanted to do an album review, and then he wanted to do an interview. And when we did the interview, bro, yo, I felt like I fucking went to therapy, son. Like I was like, yo, why is it that I've been rapping for this long and I've never been asked some questions like these, like about like my early days and whatnot, you know, like before I was even rapping, you know? And being the typical New Yorker that I am, I immediately did the typical New Yorker thing when you come up on some fly shit, right? You put all your homies up on that shit. Right?
Yeah. I think that's the East Coast thing. That's the East Coast.
Super big East. Yeah, super big East moves where you like, yo, you know what? Putting all the homies onto this shit.
We on this.
Immediately hit Holden like, yo, we should do a show together, son. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And this is the show. Originally it was called Bridge the Gap. Now we switched it and it's called Perspectives. You know what I mean? You're like our third guest.
Fire.
And I just, you know, I think that, you know, there's a lot that, you know, we're gonna unpack here that I think the people are gonna be interested in knowing, right? Mm-hmm. Things that like I feel like as battle rappers and even as indie artists, like our interviews tend to be really like, when did you fall in love with hip hop? Stupid ass questions.
They ask you the same
shit.
Yeah.
Always ask you the same fucking shit. It's like, can we talk about something else?
Who do you look up to and all that?
Yeah, who you gonna battle next? Who's your favorite battle rapper? Shit like that. But it's like, I guess like we should start asking that too near the end of stuff. But like, I think we got a good setup for what we do. You know?
I also think though, if you're having good conversations, like that, regular surface information is gonna come up anyways, like
on its own. Big facts.
It'll come up by itself.
But
like,
yeah, so
it's honestly to a point where I stopped watching the interviews a lot beforehand because there wasn't a lot in there. You can find out more like through the battles, etc. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I wanted to say something though to your point. It's crazy how y'all link together. It's just crazy how like life puts it together, because that's kind of how I started battle rapping. Like I had my own studio and shit like that, and then shit happened where my studio fell through, and I just had mad rhyme. I just had mad rhyme.
Hold that little
with
tidbit.
All the details, my guy.
Opening it up like a typical battle rap. Like I got bars out, jump.
Trust. We're gonna do this.
So before we get to that, Holden's got some like he's got.
You got your first question,
right? But I like to open up, asking everybody. Why don't you tell the people who you are and where you're from?
All right. Well, me, I'm Xcel. I'm who I am. I'm just I'm always a guy just trying to always do better, really. You know what I mean? That's always been my thing. Always trying to improve on certain shit with myself and just everything around me. I was born in Boston, but I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts. It's like 20 minutes from Boston and shit like that. I got mad family in Boston. Brockton, we known for back in the days in like the 30s or 40s, we was known for shoes, making shoes. You know what I mean? Kind of weird. But then we got known for Rocky Marciano and Marvin Hagler. I know for boxing and shit like that. So, you know what I mean? I'm old enough to remember Marvin Hagler like jogging around, shit like that.
That's dope.
Fresh.
Yeah.
That's wild fresh. And that actually leads into Holden's first question.
This is we're gonna get it.
This is blessed, right?
For realsies. So I got Tolkien first question. It's a bit of a story, and when it's done, you can just kind of take it in whatever direction you would like to take it with your answer. So it starts with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes, and she's got her phone out, and she's playing that Black Eyed Peas song. I got a feeling. She's dancing, she's vibing, she's doing her thing, and it got me thinking about this song. And just because she's sitting there and it's basically like chores music or like exercise, it's got like a vibe now that everybody kind of uses this music for. But if you really think about this track and you run it back like 10 years ago, but 2010 or whatever, that shit's like the club banger. Like you can't go anywhere if you're drunk at 2 a.m. It's playing all over the world. Everybody's fucking vibing out to it in a completely different way. So that got me like thinking about how the song kind of evolves. It goes from being this club banger into this chores music. Apparently all the chores musics and club bangers are really how old you are, not so much how old the music is what I've learned since asking this. But still, you have this idea of how the song kind of changes with you throughout your life over time. So that song for you becomes that chores music, which means all those people partying to Cardi B right now, they're gonna be doing chores to Cardi B one time down the way. But when we think about our musical journeys, because that's what they are, the journeys that we go on with our music and our raps and however we approach it, right? We often, like you guys pointed out with the interviews, we often start off in this like adolescent point where we have our identities and we pick these things that we like the most and etc. And that's where like everyone kind of starts the conversation. But really, music's just kind of part of the environment and part of the vibes of like everything. So it kind of starts like way before that, like as young as anyone can really remember. So as an example, like I can remember being like 3, 4, or 5 years old, and my dad's got these gray boxes, the amp and the fucking radio and the tape deck and shit, and they would all connect together into the speakers. And he bust out those Led Zeppelin tapes, and at night there'd be like this 90s techno music playing and shit. My mom's was into musicals and fucking discos and whatnot, and really like each of them had their own thing and different scenarios created different music, and it all kind of impacted me and like started me off on my journey. So what I was hoping is if you could bring us back to being the youngest Xcel that you could remember being and give us an idea of what it sounded like in Boston or Brompton, whichever one you were in when you can remember it, and what it just sounded like in the tech and like the vibes and all of that.
I think, well, for me, when it comes to musical, I kind of had a dose of everything, you know what I'm saying? Because one side of my family was church people. So I grew up like a part of my life, I grew up church music, and I'm talking about like real live singing, tearing the building down, so like this, like
double checking. We're talking about like
Baptist church,
Baptist black church,
yeah, black
right?
church,
Okay.
like,
versus there's a difference between that and like, you know, like
yeah. So like I can say like
church.
the first people I ever seen like pick up a microphone and do something crazy was like my grandmother. You know what I mean? Because she sang in the church. So when she grabbed the mic, she started singing. Everybody like, oh, it was dope. But then outside of that, so then I had like, I can remember being young listening to 90s music. So it was like the Wu-Tangs and the Salt and Pepper. I remember being young. I can remember from my aunts playing, because I used to live with my grandmother and my aunts. They was young at the time, so Salt and Pepper was a joint.
You're the first person outside of me to say Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, I
Salt and Pepper. I had my first CD was A Very Necessary Salt.
Mm-hmm. I remember the first shit I ever bought with my own bread was Illmatic, because and the only reason why I bought this shit was because Nas was young, and I was like, oh shit, he's wild young. Rapping.
Yeah, you saw like you felt like,
yeah, I was like, that's me, like, you know what I'm saying, like
yeah,
all
in a couple years that could be me.
Yeah, like
Nas nobody said that before. Right. That's so interesting. I've never had anybody say that to me. That's like what made Illmatic such an appealing thing, was that
like when
the age part of it.
Yeah, but then when I got, even now, like when I listen to that shit, I'm like, yo, this he was a kid when he wrote. Like he recorded that shit at 19, so he probably, them his raps he had all his life, so he probably 15, 16 with them.
Right?
Shit.
Check it. I think it was that he was 19 when it came out. So that means he was 18 when he recorded it, and Lord knows how young he could have been, right? Because because with your first album, always, that's something that I think Jay said, or I forget who it was that said it, but like your first album, it takes your whole life up until your first album to write your first album, right? Because you're using shit. I'm pretty sure you, same as me, same as Holden, we can all testify to this. Like your first solo project, you had shit maybe that you might have written and kept on rewriting and revising as you went, but you started writing that maybe when you were 14 or 16 or something like that. It was the first rhyme that you had that people reacted, reacted to. So you knew to keep those rhymes. So that's how like nasty Nas what really was on that first album, because it's like, you can't call it. He could have been 13 when he wrote, some of those,
Nobody knew nothing. So that time, then it was just from there. I went to
we got hold up. We got, before we go into the future, we still gotta stay in this part. You gotta understand. I'm from Montreal, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm growing up in a very different place and a very different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know fuck all about Massachusetts, honestly, except from what Chilla Jones told me. So yeah,
I'm about to give it to you. Where I was at, it was a lot of Mobb Deep, definitely a lot of heavy like Queensbridge, you know what I'm saying? It was very East Coast influence. So around when I was a kid, I can remember Mobb Deep, like I said, Nas. I remember Jay, but when I remember Jay, I remember Streets Is Watching. That's when I was like, oh yeah, Jay-Z's that nigga. That's when he became that nigga, and to me. If you never seen that, people go on YouTube.
Fantastic fucking, it's a great
fantastic movie. I don't even know what to call it. Movie, set of videos, whatever it is.
I mean, technically speaking, right? It was like the first actual hip hop visual album, right? Mm. Because he did videos to almost all the songs.
Yeah, all the songs
that were on Volume 1. Yeah, and then a couple songs he kept off, like the songs that he saw didn't work with the public, like Sunshine. He got a lot of like shit for that because it was too puffy sounding, for the time.
He did some street shit,
and he added some street shit to Volume 1, and boom, you get Streets Is Watching, and it's like the first visual album. Yeah.
So I got a question then, because like how did y'all get the music? Like, how did y'all hear it, discover it? Like, when you're young, how do
Hmm.
you like get? Is it because of your aunts? Is it like how does
Yeah,
this flow of happen?
I got it from my aunts, and then I mean, you just be outside, shit like that. Like you might be outside, and the older niggas bumping something in his car, and you like, oh
Yep.
shit, what the fuck is that? Because everybody niggas is outside, like, you know, posted up. At this time. Obviously, it's not like that now, but when I was a kid, 10, 20 people outside posted up. It was a normal thing. So you might be outside, you hear an older dude bumping something, and you see what it is, or you hear older dudes having conversations about, yo, you heard AZ better than Cormega, or Nas is better. And then you, as a little guy, you go and you do your research, you figure out who these people are. Or that at this time, when I was a kid, I still remember the radio. The radio used to play Fire.
Yeah.
Fire. They used to play whole albums. Whenever somebody's album came out, they would play the whole, obviously radio edits, but whenever somebody's album came out, they'd play the whole shit, the whole thing. Boom.
Yeah.
Mad multiple times, I remember that. Or niggas freestyle. And then, or you could go, I'm sure FLACKO know because he was New York, but
I could tell you that I already relate to everything that you're saying, because I'm like, to this day, I'd still discover songs from people driving in the street. Like, especially if they get caught at a red light, I immediately go to my phone and hit Siri with, you know what I mean? Like, what song is this type shit? And screenshot.
Or you could go, everybody had and then at this time, it was I grew up in the mixtape era when the mixtapes was heavy. So
yeah,
your mixtape spot, you get your DJ Clues, your K Slays, your Big Mics, your Who Kids, and you listen to Who's Fire. You had, at that time, it was Fabulous and Clue, D Block, Dipset, Joe Budden. Joe Budden had a little run with Clue in them, Saigon. Like, it was a bunch of motherfuckers running. So
yeah,
I think
Saigon had some fire tapes.
It was a mix, all of that shit. So it would be like almost like you'd want to know who's the new underground dude to like try to front on your niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you heard this nigga? Nah, you ain't heard this nigga. And you know what I mean? And it'd just be like that.
No, that's really cool that you guys had this culture of almost like digging into the crates and trying to underground your homies, because like that creates such like a healthy passion, in my opinion, of like trying to like find doper and doper shit, you know. And that's cool to hear. I don't know if people do that. I'm gonna look into that more.
No, that's the entire like hip hop until like pretty much like about maybe, and even then, no, it still happens to this day, right? Where like you have people like look, the homie Lush One does it to like me and to other people. I was just talking shit about my homie Lush One and my homie Henry Hennessy. They both are really into the Detroit hip hop scene, and I finally went and checked out all the names they've been talking about, and I don't really like the style, right? But like wild happy for Detroit, because you know, Hami, we got wild, you know, Detroit family linked, wild. Right. So I have a lot of love for Detroit, and it's not as a slight to them, you know, like I'm happy that they're having their moment. It's just not my cup of tea, what I heard from the names that they named. And like immediately Lush hits me with it's all right, homie, you'll be into it in 5 years.
Right. Like, even like it happens now, because let's say Griselda, right? Even with Griselda, I've been listening to Griselda for years, I don't even know how long now, since before anybody knew who the fuck a West Side Gun was, or Conway. Because I ran into Griselda from listening to Sky Zoo. I was listening to Sky Zoo one day, and then I heard West Side Gun. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I found the nigga, and that was that. But you know what I'm saying? It happened.
But how would you find it? So, okay. So let's go back to like you're young. There's no internet or whatever. Mm-hmm. You hear somebody drop a name. How do you research this person?
Listen, man. It was either you go to find them on mixtapes, because at that time there was no internet, so the mixtapes was how new guys came out. So if somebody's name was on, like, let's say you had, like, let's say DJ Clue, you had DJ Clue, K Slay, let's say Big Mike, let's say Who Kid, and let's just say like DJ Enough. Let's just say them 5. If somebody's name is on all 5 of them niggas mixtapes, I'm going to look him up, because he obviously is killing it. You know what I'm saying? And then there's guys that you just know and trust that have been around for a while. Like at that time, it was like Cam'rons and Jadakiss. Like, you're always gonna listen to Cam'ron. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? You see Jadakiss name, you're gonna listen to that. Like, all right, let me see what Jadakiss, Styles P. You see Styles, you're gonna listen to that. But for new guys, like, it would just be like, yo. And then after a while, like, even 50 Cent. That's how I was when I was coming up. When 50 Cent was his rise, like before he got shot, I listened to 50 Cent. He used to rap totally different. That's why I have a different respect for 50 Cent than most people, because if you listen to 50 Cent before he got shot, he was a rapper. He used to rap, like rap. Obviously, it was street raps, you know what I'm saying? But he was putting syllables together.
You talk about like the shit that he was doing when he was ciphering with Nori and
Guess Who's Back and all that. Like,
he
was putting syllables together. He was rhyming, getting his bars off. He had bars and all that. Then he got shot, and he had to learn how to rap the way he raps now. Well, he don't rap anymore, but the way he used to rap. But so even that, watching his rise, like 50 Cent. I remember when he got shot and niggas was like, nope, we not fucking with him. And then he came out of nowhere with the mixtapes, and he started fucking up the mixtape. And then he was on every mixtape and then he started making his own. He was really the first person I ever seen do that, make his own shit. And he would just remix everybody's songs, and then and it worked for him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was 50 and Dipset essentially.
Yeah, Dipset started doing it too. Dipset making their own tapes too.
Dipset was doing it with like Bout It, and a couple songs they would remix. But yeah, that was
yeah. And then it would just be the wave, and then I think Boston and also Massachusetts and Boston, really, we get a lot of the newer artists and newer New York music, because we're usually the first. Like, when motherfuckers go on tour from New York, like Boston is usually the first stop. Boom. It's either the first or the second. They hit Connecticut and then they hit Boston. Boom. Or they go right to Boston. And they go right to the Middle East.
Also, it could be the I could speak from like being on tour with Brian McKnight, right? And like that's like second to last stop on the whole tour, right? Because then the last stop is back in New York City, and so where do you stop? It was like Buffalo, Boston, New York City, you know, and we left, and we left. Well, we were coming back down from Toronto at that point, so it's like coming down type of
and looping,
But Boston is absolutely. It's always connected. Like if the New York show is one day, then like the Boston show is probably the day before.
Yeah. So we always get we had a lot like Sean Price come perform here. Like I've seen everybody like they all come here. Like so. And
you said they go where?
To the Middle East.
To the Middle East. Remember when we were talking? Remember when I was talking when we were talking to Chilla Jones?
Middle East?
No.
It's a venue in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Okay, right.
It's a legendary venue. I'm gonna say all your favorite rappers have probably performed in that venue.
All of them.
You know, if they came to Boston, they went to before they might be doing the stadium now, but they did the Middle East at one point in their life.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Royce the 5'9" there. I've seen Sean Price.
Yeah.
I opened for Sean Price. I've seen the whole Duck Down. I've seen Nas been mad people, just everybody like Joe, but everybody, you know what I mean? So
Middle East is essentially like
yes.
in New York. It's difficult, right, for me to like because to compare it to a New York venue that has this, it's more spread out, right? Because there's a lot of venues that can encompass the like the heaviness and the breadth of like the name Middle East in Boston, but like it is one of those like it's essentially kind of like for hip hop in Boston, it's like the Madison Square Garden of that. Of course, it wouldn't be Madison Square Garden because we're talking about like a club versus like an arena,
No,
like,
man, I get
right?
it. It's everybody comes through.
But
it's
it's like
spot.
it's really
Yeah,
big.
it's
And when we
spot,
were
like,
talking to Chilla Jones, I had brought Middle East up because I got fam with Xcel and other homies in Boston, and so like I'm really familiar with Boston, and like Middle East is like, yeah, like, and Boston is one of those cities that like it's got a very, like it's got a, you know, like I'll let Xcel talk about Boston's
like
reputation.
I say Massachusetts as far as hip hop, we have our own culture, we have our own scene. Like, you know, there's a lot of rappers that come from here. Guru from Gangstars from Massachusetts. He moved obviously Benzino. You got
which then brings in the Made Men and the
Made
Almighty
Men and all
RSO.
guys, RSO guys, shout out to them. You got who else is from Boston? That was Ed OG. Can't forget about my guy Ed. Shout out to Ed OG. You got
I like the Ed OG, the one that's doing all the VR stuff right now.
I don't know.
Probably.
Yo, I swear I met that dude in virtual reality like 2 weeks ago.
Listen, the thing is this, like real, like the underground heads, like the vet, like NOG is essentially like Massachusetts version of like Talib Kweli and Mos Def in one. You know what I mean? Like he is their super, like he's underground technically speaking, but like he's had deals with major labels and he's had distribution with major labels, and he's put his work in. His name rings heavy, and those guys usually are the ones leading the pack when it comes to tech stuff, before the mainstream artists. Because
they just threw the first paid, like gated virtual reality hip hop show. So I was like, that's fucking cool.
He probably was on there. But and I think so I think as far as like what the music scene was, it was pretty similar to New York. I mean, I grew up listening to.
Let's bring it back to you though, because I mean that was great. But more importantly, when do you look at the situation and go, I'm gonna start rapping?
All right, so like I said, my peoples was always into music, right? My family, right? So, like, my uncles could sing. Everybody could sing. My grandmother, she used to do plays and shit like that. So, I was always, like, writing things, like, just fucking around. And I used to just freestyle fucking around, like, since a kid. Like, and then one day, I was probably, like, 12 in, like, music class. I think I wrote a rap. Like the teacher was like, you got to write a song. And I wrote a song. And then she was like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wrote this? This is yours? I was like, yeah. She was like, you didn't copy this from nobody? I was like, nah. Wrote it down.
That's a weird question, eh? And I like that this is the first assumption.
Yeah,
really
she thought, I don't know what she thought of. I stole like a rap or something. I don't know. She thought I stole somebody's rhyme or something. But then
do you happen to remember her name?
Miss Villani. Miss Villani, I remember you.
Shouts to Miss Villani.
She's dope. She was a music teacher, so she used to but she was like not traditional. She used to like let us just rock, like she used to, you know what I'm saying, because she didn't hate. She was like, all music is music, you know what I'm saying? So
that's dope. That's important, especially back then.
Yeah, she was just like
back then.
Wrote a song, wrote the rap. She was just like, yo, this is really good, you know what I'm saying? And then I just started like studying people. Like I started studying people, and I started like getting in a little bit, figuring out how they rap, and then I would just in my mind I would go, let me write a rap like I'm him. Like Like, let me. And then I figured, and I started doing that shit. So I started, obviously, as a kid, you sound like people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you were emulating the
you're
styles that you
emulating
heard.
people.
Yeah.
But then I've like Jay-Z, like I did some pun, I did some little bit of everybody, you know what I mean? So then I figured out my own rhythm and timing by the time I was like 13, 14. But I was on it though.
That's
I
early.
was really like,
That's a flex.
That's
a but I really went hard though. I really like, I remember during that time, like it was like competitive with me. Like it was like, yo, this what I'm like. Even when I was in school, like I ain't take no fucking notes. I was just writing raps. Turn the page. You know what I mean?
It was early. So it was early for you. You were essentially like, that's why it makes sense that you would say the Nas thing now, right? Because like that, like you were young, you know, looking at like the youngest out, like, yeah, this is gonna be me. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to think that you might have listened to Shaheem too in the same, like, you know,
I listened to everything. I listened to all them niggas, all the young niggas, all them. I listened to him. I listened to obviously AZ. He was with Nas at the time. I listened to Shaheem. Yeah, Shaheem was fire though. Like all of them, A plus. I remember him. I remember there was a bunch of young dudes. Like, and J Hood when he came out with his with that freestyle with
that first
yeah,
B block freestyle was.
Jada was like, only 14. I was like, man. Like I was that kid that was like, I was that kid that was like, I would hear something fire and I would just go in the house. If it was too crazy, I was just going out and write. Like there's only certain rappers that just stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, I can't do that. Like Pun, when I first heard Pun, I was like, I can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? What do you do with that? You can't do nothing with that. That's crazy what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
another level.
It don't stop. That's how he raps. It's not like he did that for one song. Nah, that's how he rhymes.
Yo, like, I shatter dreams like Jordan, assault baddie, your team, your squadron will be barred. Your squadron will be barred from rap like Adam and Eve from the garden.
Yo, niggas, yo.
It's just
he's
like
crazy,
what?
son. He's crazy. That man is like, so Pun, you know what I'm saying? Oh, and then when I first heard Big L, Big L made me realize I could say anything I wanted. I was like, oh shit, I could say anything because this nigga says anything. He don't give a fuck. He says
he definitely said like Big L and Biggie kind of like they embodied, like back then, right? There was no actual horrorcore, technically speaking, yet, right. You know? And those guys kind of towed the line between horrorcore, shock rappers, and right. and street, you know, because they were from the streets, but they toyed with that, with the like, yo, this rap, and we gonna say just the craziest
whatever. Like they said shit you would, like at that time, like when you said I went to help, like even Nas, when he said I went to help stuff in Jesus, like
Jesus. Well, yeah, back then that was crazy.
Like what? You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to
you ain't supposed to say that about God. You're supposed to say you snuffed Jesus.
You did what?
Yo, that's also really interesting to hear, because like, yo, I do album reviews, right? And sometimes we sit there and we just don't understand, right? Why would not say that? But then you're like, yo, because people was learning how to like push the boundaries and say the wildest shit and take it. And I'm like, you guys is just so inherent, you just get it. And I'm like, yo, this makes a lot more sense when you're breaking it down like this.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, like I think at that time niggas was just, at that time it was like, now we kind of know that, you know what I'm saying, you could say anything, it's whatever. But at that time it was just like, and Nas was a kid, like, so he was like, let me see what I could say. Oh, all right, word. But when he said it, I was just like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Biggie did a lot of that. DMX did a lot of that. You know what I mean?
There was a lot of that. Even Cameron did, right? Like on his first album. He had
a lot of the rappers at that
bars.
time was
he said, I went straight for noodles when I ate that poodle's doo-doo. Like, where it's just like, well, what?
They were just saying crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of, even like Jay-Z, he says a lot of, like, he got a song about where the third verse is about where he shoots his brother. It was like, yo, this is wild, son. You know what I'm saying? So I think with the time I grew up in hip hop, it was like, yo, saying you gotta be, if you rapping, you gotta be saying some dope shit. You gotta be, and I was always fascinated by people that made me think. People that made me like, oh shit, what the fuck did he just say? Right? If you can make me do that, you got me. Like, what did you hear? What did you hear? What you just said? Shit like that always worked. So I always liked like Big L, the Slick Talkers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But we always also too on the other side, I always listen to R&B and shit like that. I was always on that side too in the 90s because that's what was playing most of the time.
All right,
Like,
so you're like,
because I was old enough to remember rap only came on at a certain time of the motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Like it came on, but it wasn't like it is now. Like you
The
turn on
whole
radio,
station 24/7. Yeah,
I
nah.
don't know. That should be like, nigga, rap only come on with certain DJs come on.
Late at night, mix
Late at night.
shows.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? But so you rock with the R&B, shit like that too. I mean,
But it makes sense that you'd be able to like write songs when your family's in the church showing you the structure of songs. You usually get a booklet, right, that has like the lyrics to the song. So now you're a child seeing that your grandma, you said, right, was singing in the church. Yeah, so like your grandma be, like that, the R&B.
Yeah, my family played instruments and shit like that. It was like,
yeah.
And I watched music be put together. So I watched choirs be directed. So I watched one person direct the choir and the fucking band and all that shit right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it became a normal thing. It was normal. So for me, writing songs and doing writing, so I just tried to figure it out. You know what I mean? I just like, yo, let me try to write. And then I just, at the end of the day, like, I could always freestyle. So I just started writing down, instead of freestyling, I just started writing down whatever I thought in my brain. You know what I mean?
okay, so you're like 14 and with an established style.
Yeah.
Are you like how do you like actually start recording music? Do you like battle in the schools? Like, what's going on with this?
Me and my man, well, at that time, me and my man, shout out to my man Keys, wherever you at, shout out to you. We made like, he rapped too, and we made like a little fucking bump. We made like a little tape on like a handheld recorder. It was mad. It was like, we played the music over some loudspeakers and we just rapped over that shit. And then we took it to school and we played that shit for mad people and everybody was fucking with it. And then from then on, it was just a lot of writing before, like, maybe I started really recording probably at like 15, 16. You know what I'm saying? I took but before that, it was really just a lot of writing, like a lot of just, like that's probably what we used to do to pass time. It became something like that, like what we used to do to pass time, you know what I'm saying, in between doing whatever we was doing at that time, you know what I'm saying? Like niggas would just write raps, or I would just write. It became like a normal habit, like practice, like to the point where like if I
go outside, play ball.
Go outside, play ball, chill,
holla at girls, come back in, write some shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like it was daily habit. And then it wasn't even like you said, it wasn't like no drill shit. It wasn't like, yo, it would just be, yo, boom. And then he rapped too. So it'd be a little competitive shit where I wrote to whatever beat. I wrote to the fucking Mobb Deep joint last night. You know, he'll spit me with wrote old word, and I'd write something right there. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Or freestyle sessions. You know what I'm saying? Niggas cut the beats, smoke some weed, drink, whatever, get high, cut the beats on, niggas start freestyling, shit like that. A lot of that. So I think doing that hard like that hard body. That's what helped me establish my style, because I was around a bunch of dudes that we was all young, but we was all focused on the same shit, and it was all just being better. Yeah, everybody was trying to get better, like, and it would just be, yo, how can I ain't really care about the outside world. It was just, what can I bring to the cipher to impress the dudes I'm ciphering with? Because I know they about to bring some crazy shit every time. You know what I'm saying? So I had that within my set of friends before I really, like, for a while, before I ever, like, stepped in a ring or anything like that. You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna throw it out there that by 16, having like a shit ton of practice, writing daily, ciphering with friends, like fuck. There's a whole bunch of us growing like people in our 30s trying to establish these habits that you're like spitting
I
so
don't
matter of
cipher. Like,
fact.
the crazy shit is I write now. I don't write as much now, but I mean, when I do, it comes easy. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing it like that. But I don't get writer's block. I don't think, because of the way how when I started, I wrote so much and did how my brain, like, rapping now is like muscle. Like, I can
Right.
like, all right, cut a beat on, or you just like, yo, you got to write. All right, hold on, give me a minute, let me put it together. You know what I'm saying? So I think that now I cipher sometimes when I find them, or me and my man is fucking around, but definitely not as much now because I'm older. I got kids and shit like that. And I don't got as much time.
It's also like in a different place in life. Established. You got like 83 battles, I think, Verse Tracker said. It's not the same as a lot of folk who maybe should spend more time with the practicing and sharpening the swords, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. But that part matters. I want people to know that part, the sharpening of your sword, matters. It don't matter. You let it be whack, because you can only make it better, man.
Facts. That's you just gave them a gem that, you know what, like what my OGs gave me when I was young, which was like when I was freestyling, like they would be like, you gotta just keep going. It don't matter if it's whack. You gotta keep going. That's the only way you're gonna get to the good shit.
If day
you rap through the whack shit.
And one day it's just gonna happen to you. Like, you're gonna be like, oh, yo,
it's true.
That shit was not whack that I just said. Like, so, that's a fact.
Yes.
Word.
Facts.
You know it. No, you know it. It's
no,
facts.
I know that's facts. I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
I was like,
one day
I remember that moment.
You got moments like, oh shit. It's just like when you fucking riding the bike. You ride the bike, you fall, you bust your ass, and then you're like, oh, I got it. I'm good. And then after that, you good. You don't never, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, just let it be whack, man. Don't be scared to be whack.
Don't be scared to be whack. Big facts.
The point out, though, like, take the criticism, though. If somebody tell you your shit obviously, if somebody's blatantly hating on you, then that's different. If somebody's like, yo, and it can give you points to sharpen your shit, just take that shit, man. That's all. Don't be above reproach. That's all.
Nah, it's super important to listen to that. So what do you do at 16? Do you then hit up a studio and find beats and all this?
Really, me and like, I want to say me. Hold on, me, my man Keys, my man Cat, my man Catalyst, who I'm still cool with. That's my brother. My man Doubles, couple other dudes. We get money together. Catalyst uncle just happens to be an engineer at the studio, so we go to his studio and we do a couple joints. He likes what we do, you know what I'm saying? So we go there. You know what I'm saying? That starts a relationship with him. My man Al, shout out to Al. Al's still around. He's amazing with the engineering and shit like that. That was the first time I was ever in an official studio. Like I walked in, seeing all the boards and all that shit. That shit was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time I was like, oh, shit.
Facts. Facts. The first time you walk into a studio, and you see like a real mixing board, like a full blown like
Or like
mixing
you're like,
board,
oh,
you're
I'm
like,
here.
yeah, you immediately are like, it's like
Yeah,
it's like in shows and in movies when you get the music and shit, like the heavens open, like.
Yeah,
and then
it's
like
like okay.
I remember distinctly seeing that the mic was in a separate room that had like a glass divider thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
oh, booth is
whoa,
real.
that's different. That's different.
Yeah.
Different.
So, so we went with Al, and Al linked us up with a couple guys. And me and Catalyst, we was doing tapes. We did mad tapes. But they was like hood tapes, you know what I'm saying? So we did that for a while. Then eventually it just linked into nigga got older and he bought our own studio. You know what I'm saying? Like we just
Okay,
bought
so what's older? Is this like 17? Because so far
Nah,
older in your
when we
life has
did
been
that,
like
we was like,
gradual growth.
now when we did that, when we had the studio, I'm trying to think. When he bought it, when we got it, he was probably like, I had to be like 19, 20 when we went to Guitar Center one day. But that's just what happened. Like we just like, yo,
Yeah, that's right. Like
money.
That's the same story as like RZA essentially, but it's
Yeah.
like that was the only story you could have back then. There were no like the only, I mean, and when you look at it right to this day, essentially, Guitar Center still kind of has like a foothold as the premier like the Best Buy of like instruments. Yeah, music shit. Like that's the only place that you really can go to buy like a MPC, a music, a drum program, a machine, or a guitar, or any of that shit. So like, yeah.
So it's like, yo, I was a big cat, like a Catalyst. He's my older, like he's like an older brother to me. So one day we were just sitting there. And he was like, yo, son, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of spending wild bread in the studio. I'm like, I feel you. And we just went. And we went and grabbed the little setup, you know what I'm saying? Little Pro Tools interface, all that. And then we got Pro Tools for Dummies, and we figured out how to record ourselves. And once we figured that shit out, we're off to the races after that.
So in between that, like high school and like getting the studio, are you like performing? Are you pushing stuff throughout that time, or are you just making music?
In high school, I was really just like, I spent most of my high school time, I was really writing. We was making music, but it was more like, really, we was doing that shit like, we was hustling and shit like that. So in high school, I wasn't really focused on it like that. It was like, I would write for the fuck of it because that's just what I did. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time by myself. So when spending a lot of time by myself, I used to just go in my brain and my imagination crazy. I used to be a little boy like everybody, like take 2 fucking wrestling action figures and have the greatest match of all time because that's just, I spent wild time dolo. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like when it comes to at that time, so I was making music, but in high school and then I was playing ball for a little bit. So I was really like focused on that. But when it came to rapping, it was always something that I could just do. It was like, I could do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Then I started putting the time in. After maybe about 10th grade, I started putting the time in for real. Like, all right, let me lock in. And we started putting out little tapes. And them shits was doing all right in my city. Like, they just, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, by the time I was like 17, 18, everybody already knew, like, ah, yeah, them dudes over there, they rap. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? In my city, anyway.
That's serious, though. That's genuinely an impressive thing to state.
Mm-hmm.
Just across the board, all of it. Like, that's like, by 18, you're already buzzing on an independent mixtape grind.
We was doing like, and then, we was doing like, we had a little buzz out here. We had the buzz. I think we put out like 2 or 3 tapes, and then we started working with Peter Parker. We met Peter Parker. Shout out to Peter Parker, DJ Peter Parker, wherever you at. And we started doing shows. We started performing at the Middle East, doing shows and all that, opening up
which
for
is
people.
huge. Yeah,
opening up for people.
Not
And
like
that shit was
everybody. It's not like anybody that rapped in Boston was just like, you know, like getting to like rap at the Middle East. Like that's again like a privileged position.
Yeah. So we shout out to Leeds. He does the booking for the Middle East. Shout out to him. Yeah, man. And then we was doing that. And then we was just running around the hood, man. I think it was for my crew, it was just too many. It was a lot of us. It was like 4 or 5 dudes. And then some of us, you know, got older and the passion for it wasn't, I'm not gonna say like they just got older. They had kids, got jobs.
Kids and jobs,
life.
man. Kids and jobs. Life is like the, you know, I got a lot of homies that, you know, like they was nice, but you know, they had kids and they started working and you know, like
life wins. And that's always that's not a bad thing. But at that time we were definitely running around. We had studios, we had like, because I was probably the youngest dude in my circle. So my dudes, all my older guys, they were older, so they used to like cool up and get apartments. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, yo.
But that's another interesting thing that you said too, is to have access to older people that were down to be there in your world and like take you on.
Yeah, for sure. I know I was annoying, but they loved me and they kept me right. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the young little knucklehead motherfucker. I'm saying I ain't really listening to that. But
that was like all of us though.
All of us. That's
you know, when you're young, when you're young, you know, it's you don't know nothing, but you know, you think you know something, you know, because you started thinking for yourself. So really can't nobody tell you nothing. You like, what?
And if you got a couple dollars, you think you know everything.
Forget it.
Nobody tell you shit. Like, man, chill out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Chill out. But yeah, so at that time we was definitely I was always like, and then we would like go to parties and battle and shit like that. But that would always, it was different than how I battle now.
Can we talk about party battles? This is a first. Whenever I hear a good first, what's it like running through Boston and shit, battling people at parties?
So party battles either happen 1 or 2 ways, right? So it's either somebody from somewhere else, like it's never the 2 guys rapping, right? So it's 2 dudes meet up and they go, yo, my man over here, Xcel, on the south side, yo, this nigga, he's smoking everybody. He'll kill your man. Yo, my man over here, so-and-so, he'll kill him. He'll kill Xcel. All right, bet it up. So then they come, they get me, they get him. And it happens like that. Or the party shit usually is you go to a party, you chilling. Back when I used to go to parties and shit when I was a kid, go to parties, you chilling, drinking, smoking, you cut the beats on. It usually starts in the cypher. The cypher goes, everybody takes their turn. And then somebody either throws shots at somebody indiscreetly, where you're like, yo, is this nigga talking about me? Like somebody will say something about your shirt color, you be like, what? Oh, word, because mind you, everybody's freestyling. You know what I mean? So it might be some impromptu shit about you. You're like, what? And it starts like that. Or you rapping and everybody stops rapping and it's the last 2 dudes. And then the last 2 dudes, it's usually because back then it used to be like, yo, we rap till you can't. If you stop rapping, you lost type shit. Like if you run out of bars, it's over type shit. So it would happen like that. And then because it's the same thing with like dudes getting tough off the liquor around girls. Like once the rapping starts, everybody thinks they can rap when girls is around. Especially when you're young. Everybody wants to just
everybody want to be the man.
Everybody want to be the man. So if they see somebody shine, which it would either be me, usually me, or one of my dudes like commanding the cipher. So it would either be me or one of them that would end up battling somebody that night because somebody felt the way. And it would just start off with either indiscreet dissing or nigga like, yeah, you not that nice. And I'm like, all right, man, put some beats on. Well, I'll show you how nice I am for real. And it would just happen like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like less hostile version than that street shit that I've heard from the New York folks. It's like just a more like almost like college movie version. I like it.
Yeah. Yo, I could tell you an ill story about what happened in the college one day when I went to go see my brother Catalyst. I went to go. Now, mind you, like I said, we came up together. Like we sharpened our swords together. You know what I'm saying? Like we put in. You know what I'm saying? This was my partner. So he goes to college. Now, mind you, I'm the youngest one. So he graduates high school. He goes to college. Now, apparently, he was up there at the college killing everybody, wrecking. He was wrecking everybody, right?
That's what all that practice was for.
All right. I go up there one day, Flock, right? And I'm like, yo, mind you, this is my brother. Just like if you go see Sway. I'm like, yo, I want to battle you. And he looked at me, and as soon he knew what was up. And as soon as I said that, the whole dorm he was in just like, and I was like, oh, y'all think this nigga's like, y'all don't know where he got this from. But it was just mad funny because when I was like, y'all want to battle you, everybody was scared for me. Like, nigga, this is my brother. Are you crazy? Like this, I'm where he got this from. Like
yeah.
Like so, it was just like that. You know what I'm saying?
You was ready to do the Harlem Globetrotter show. You know what I mean? Where like y'all know how to pass the ball to each other, and
right.
And you know, like
he knew what it was. He knew what it was. I was just like, yo, I want to battle you. And he just looked at me. He was like, all right. And everybody was like, and then me and him just looked at each other and started laughing. Like, I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? But that at that time, that was the thing. I think because at that time, you couldn't really say you was nice unless you cooked a couple people. It just was what it was, man.
Okay.
If you said you was nice, somebody was gonna test you and see how good you was. That's just what it was back then. Like it was just like in anything. It was like in basketball, like you say, especially like, man, like especially in like spots like, because I used to go to New York as a kid, so I know, especially you say you nice, somebody gonna see. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like, a word.
You say you anything, people are always gonna test in New York City. Like that's always the thing with, like
it's the same thing in
Let's
Massachusetts.
test that theory.
It might be same thing in Massachusetts. It's just more subtle.
Yeah.
But motherfuckers are gonna test you and see a word. You say you that, all right. So a lot of times the battling was just something that it wasn't malicious. It was just shit that happened off the spur of the moment. You know what I mean? It wasn't like pre-planned or set up.
So, all right, fair enough. So you're like in that like 20-ish range, or so you get the studio, you're opening up for a bunch of people, getting this whole buzz on. So what happens next with your career?
I think at that time, that's probably when I started having kids. Then I had a studio of my own, so I was doing like solo projects because my mans have moved away. So that's when I really started my solo situation. Then I started having, I think I had my son. Yeah, I had my son. My daughter, and my 20s. So I was really just, at that time, focused on being a father. I really wasn't, I was putting out music, but it wasn't like that. Then, but then I started really watching battles for real. Like, it was weird. Like, I always watched Smack.
What were you watching? What was the first?
I always watched Smack. So probably the first battle I
DVDs?
Yeah, I used to watch the DVDs. But I'll keep it real. I didn't. You know how people. You know how people like, yo, we used to watch them for the battles. I didn't. I used to watch them because you know he used to have your favorite fucking underground rapper on there talking.
Yeah, big facts.
Talking
Big
greasy.
facts.
And
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
battles was fire. So the
The
first battle
battles was like a plus.
yeah,
But we didn't know them. So it was like, who is this? You know?
Yeah, I didn't know them niggas. So the first battle I think I watched, and I can remember, was maybe Lux and Miles on Smack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, this is some shit. So I always watched it, I always respected it, you know what I'm saying? Again, it was like a age thing. It was like, yo, these niggas is young. Especially when I seen like T-Rex and shit like that. So then when I had my kids, I wasn't really focused on it. Then my studio fell through, but then I wanted to rap again. So I really started watching Smack. At that time, I think it was maybe, I just started catching up on everything. I started watching Math versus Rex. I watched all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? And then that carried on for a minute. It took like a couple years for me to actually like find the connect to do it.
So how do you find the connect?
My man Bad Seed. Shout out to my guy Bad
Bird.
Seed.
Shouts to Bad Seed.
He's a guy that he had a couple deals in the 90s and shit like that. He definitely
he definitely ran with the circle of like, you know, these are all people from that we kind of essentially interviewed, right? Because we interviewed Penn, you know, we interviewed Sarah Connor, you know, and like Sarah was running with Jean Grey back in the days before she was even Jean Grey, when she was still What, and Poison Pen was running in his circle, but he knew them and was cool with them, you know. And rest in peace, if the homie PH was still with us, he would be here, you know, and he would have interviewed with us. And that's essentially like that big group circle, you know, like of like they all kind of were the independent scene of New York City in the like early 2000s, late 90s, late 90s.
That's a fact, because at the end of the day, the Boston music scene, it's small and, you know what I mean, it's very politicky, you know what I'm saying? We it's like, you know, so I figured, yo, let's go. And I also figured in my brain, right, yo, this was my logic behind Batman. This is crazy, right? Yo, if I try to sell you a CD and you don't know who the fuck I am, you're not gonna buy my CD. But if you see me rip a nigga's head off in front of you, and I say this CD, you're gonna buy this fucking CD. A whole logic behind even pimping the battle rap. Right?
By the way, solid logic. Solid logic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this young man logic.
Super solid logic.
Yeah,
but super solid logic. Yeah. Where it's just like, yo, if you want people to like your shit and fuck with you, the best way for them to really like is for them to either hear what's on the CD, right? Or you could tear somebody's head off and then they'd be like, well, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested in this guy's rapping now, you know? Like, I just see him tear somebody's head off. He's good.
Right. I seen the work he do. So then Bad Seed, he connected me with No Mercy. And shout out to No Mercy. I talked to No Mercy and I didn't have no footage. I told him we had a conversation. I gave him some music of mine. I played him some music and he was like, yo, I could tell by how you rap that you got it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it just went. And then he booked me for my first battle in New York, which was pretty dope, at the Trap House.
At the Trap House. Shouts to the Trap House. That's a lead.
Trap House, New York. Shout out to them.
So, what was your first? So basically, you get your first battle. It's in New York. What's that like?
My first battle was definitely nerve-wracking. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely My first battle was versus Jay Bundy, a guy named Jay Bundy. It was definitely nerve-wracking. It was definitely fun. You know what I'm saying? Once you get that raw crowd reaction, it was like, okay, I'm here now. And then once you figure out how to, and then it was just like, I don't want to do it again. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing big. I was used to battling people. I just never battled like that. It was just a different way of doing it. But
it's a different energy too, knowing like I feel like knowing that it's being recorded. Like I feel like back in the days, like I don't know if that it matters more or whatever, but I feel like there's a switch that goes off in your head and you kind of know, you know what I mean? Like, yo, this is being recorded, and like it makes it even more of like added.
Yeah, you
know,
feel a little pressure. I think that and it's just getting used to getting used to the format and getting used to just being in a setting like that. Comfortability of being in a ring, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my first one, it was I had the bars and shit like that, but it was just like I was rapping fast. I wasn't pacing myself. It was just, first time.
So basically, from that point on, I mean, like for me, it's like you are one of the people we've talked to, or at least the first one, that has just had this consistent, non-stop, like you just never stop. It's just like to this day. So like, in a sense, your perspective of watching battle rap evolve from when you come into it till today is probably really powerful.
Yeah.
When did you start? When was your first battle? I know you said
On
time had
camera
passed.
was 2013 on camera, but I've been battling forever. Like
so I guess like that in regards to that's what I meant. Like your first like professional battle. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, my first professional battle was 2013, but
not even right. It would be the first released on video
on
battle, right, on YouTube, because that was the thing that made it different. Because like I remember battling at Fight Club and them having cameras, but like it wasn't like I knew for a fact that they weren't going to air tryouts and like battles that were whatever to them on MTV. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it was like it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was gonna be released, but like with the battles that we were doing for these leagues going to YouTube, it was like, nah, this is definitely going out to the world, unquestionably.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
2013 was probably my first one that got released. And then since then, like in battle rap, things move fast. So I've been here 8 years. It feels like 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you do after your first battle comes out? Like what is that? How do you promote it? Like what is that whole grind like?
It's really like direct to consumer type shit. Like at that point, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have no name, you really get your peoples, as many people as you can to view it, whoever's following you. I was lucky that a lot of people that I followed already knew who I was and what I did as far as rapping. So when they see me battling, they wasn't really surprised. They clicked the link and was like, oh, all right, you know what I'm saying? They was with it. Yeah, man, at that point it's just like direct to consumer, I think, and you gotta like stay humble, but at the same time, you gotta have a process with the shit. It's not easy. Like to get to where to be an established name is not easy, especially like when I was doing it, when I was coming up, it wasn't easy. You gotta just have a process. Like
it's never easy, right? Like the truth is that like the cream always rises to the top, though. You know, like the I think the other way that you could say, right, that you got known was like
Drake
by
said,
being
if you
good.
ain't got it, you ain't got it. The theory is real.
Yeah. Like by being good is how, you know, like look at.
Yeah, like you put in the work. So I think if you got talent, it's gonna show. So, but at the same time, you can't. I never. It's like you said, my shit is consistent, right? So how I look at it is, my work speaks for itself. It don't matter who I'm battling. Like I'm always battling me. I want to be better than the last time I was up there.
Right.
So I always look at my last battle like, all right, that was cool, but what else will I do next? And I think I took that from the same, like it all ties back into how I started rapping in the first place. It was always consistent. You know what I'm saying? So I think I just carried that over to my battle life.
So how long does it take for your second battle to come? Like, what is like the average length between battles or whatnot?
Well, I think it was like, didn't take long because I battled, and then the league owner, No Mercy, he was like, yo, he liked what I did, and he was like, yo, I want you to come back. So we talked about it, and I think like a couple months after that, I was back in New York battling. I battled somebody else. I did better. Like I was more comfortable. I slowed down. I battled Gems. Shout out to Gems.
You battled Gems?
My second battle, yep.
The second battle? That's good.
Yep.
That's like a good opponent, like to like have early on in your career, you know, like opponents like that. That's how steel sharpens steel, yo. You know?
And Gems was like the first battle rapper I battled that was like funny and shit like that, and had the crowd and shit like that laughing and shit. So shout out to Gems. I battled him. I did better. My bars was better. Everything was better. I improved. Then Mercy booked me again. Whereas a kid named Get Right, I washed him up. It was bad. That one was bad. I washed him up. And then after that, it was Daylight. And then when I battled Daylight, once I battled Daylight, that was like my 4th, 5th battle. It was up from there.
Yeah. Nah, that definitely is I think like a stamp on your career. Like you guys battle together was like it. I think it helped both of you. You know,
yeah.
Like
I battled Daylight at a time where like it was scary to battle that dude because you didn't know what the fuck he was gonna do. You didn't know if he was gonna fucking walk off the stage. You didn't know if he was gonna come dressed up as in a costume. You didn't know if he's gonna take his clothes off.
That was the middle of him starting to do all that.
Of Antic time. So you didn't know what time he was on. Like you didn't know if this nigga was gonna fuck. So and he said it. But the thing was, I think what makes that battle so dope is when you watch it as the rounds go, you can see his respect for me. Like, oh shit, this dude's really nice, saying some fire, saying some shit. And a bunch of people was there. K-Shine was there. Sway was there. John. It just happened to be. It was one of those right time, right place, right time moments. You know what I'm saying? And after that, after I battled Daylight, that's when everything changed. Really, that's when the big leagues start calling, names start ringing, phones start ringing, crazy, getting booked and shit like that.
And you battled like everywhere, right? Like you battled on
all the leagues, URL, RBE, King of the Dot, mostly every league except for like a couple. You know what I'm saying? I've probably been to every.
It's rough to like a homie. Matter of fact, you might know Prophecy. He had posted earlier today like the amount of leagues and the number of battle rappers that exist, which I'm pretty sure he might have gotten it off of like versetracker.com, you know, because they keep good stats, but like he listed the amount of leagues and it's like, oh my God, yo, it's crazy. Like you could never battle in every league because some leagues are like backyard leagues. Like it's like going to fucking North Dakota, fucking bump
Some of them
down,
cards
fucking,
like, yo,
like,
somebody needed
what?
some money. Some of them cards I look, somebody needs some money. So it's like, nah, I wouldn't say every league. All the major leagues and shit like that, I've touched multiple times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So.
it's dope though. So, okay, so when it pops off, like, I mean, what's battle rap like at that time? Like, in terms of the culture of it, how you got to come at it, how you deal with the crowds? Because something I've noticed is shit's a lot tamer now.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot tamer. I think at that time, when I was coming up, it was very competitive. I think now, so everybody gets in the gate in the house to a degree now because they got like crucibles and all this other shit, right? When I was coming up, they had the PGs, which was called the Proving Ground, right? So the Proving Ground when I was coming up was the best up and coming rappers in the country out of all the battle rappers there were. So it was me, Briz Rothstein, T-Top, Chess, Prep, Saga, and Dot. So that's 8 people. There was a million battle rappers at that time, and they picked 8 of us, right? So the competition was crazy. If you had a PG, it was almost like if you got picked, like, yo, you're a Proving Ground guy. It was like walking around with a target on your back. Because if somebody beat you, they be like, yo, they get so. It was very competitive. Everybody and I battled in the Trap, New York. So that league, we had a very intense rivalry with another league called We Go Hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it wasn't like beef, but it was very intense rivalry. Like, we wanted to kill them, they wanted to kill us. So at that time,
you guys had a few events, no? Like, like cards were
together. Yeah. Like, I battled Steams. When I battled Steams, shout out to Steams, that was probably one of the most intense battles I ever battled because of the energy that was in the building. It was all We Go Hard on one side, all Trap guys on the other side, and then we were just going back and forth, and it was a beautiful thing.
I think that was a really I think that where you guys, sorry to interrupt, right?
No,
but I think as seeing the energy that We Go Hard and Trap House had for each other and had at like those cards that would be like that, it was very, very inspiring. Like, that type of energy is what's needed in hip hop at all times. That is the real energy of hip hop, where it's just like, yo, we all really love what we do. We're all really passionate about the shit that we do, and can't nobody fucking tell me nothing about my fucking team. You know what I mean? And you motherfuckers over here, we don't like you. We better than you. We better than you. And they like, well, we don't like you. And we can get it cracking. And that type of energy is, really good.
Amazing.
I got a question.
What's up?
Because FLACKO said team, and there's something that I got to know more about. Team Hami.
Yeah.
So, like, I know what it is. I had the pleasure of talking to Poison Pen. And then I've seen your name on a Reddit list of current Team Hami members somewhere. But, like, what's a Team Hami? Like, let's say, pretend that you're talking to, like, I'm barely, 6-7 months deep in my battle rap life of knowing what it is. A lot of people watching might not understand this. And when you start Googling the battle rap teams and this sector of this culture, bro, it's a rabbit hole of people who don't explain anything. So,
the best way I can explain Team Hami, right, You ever watch you watch DC comics? You ever
Yeah,
watch
I can follow that.
uh, League of Shadows? That's what in battle rap. That's what Team Homie is. Like it's for listen, man. It's a lot, but to be for real, it's a lot. Team Homie, we're really like family. We're all a bunch of brothers.
Yeah, yo. That's the main
We're,
thing that I
we're
think
really
that
family, man. It's a lot of legendary battle rap figures in Team Homie. Like you got
yeah,
Poison Pen, who's a legend. You got Sarah
yup.
Connor, who's a legend. You got Swave, who's a legend. You
Bishop
got
Brigante.
Bishop Brigante, who's a fucking legend. You got Rock and Sean Price, who's a legend. You got, but that shit don't have nothing to do with why we are Team Homie.
Yeah,
I think,
no, that's super facts. Like, look, you right now, like you're like, you're like Rock and Sean P, which is like FYI, that's like huge. Like who in battle rap could say that they had signed artists, Helter Skelter essentially, are members of Team Homie. You know what I mean? Like these are two elite rappers that are in like a super legendary hip hop crew already,
and
right? Like not even just their
no,
group, they're in Boot Camp Click, which is like
it's not
they were contemporary with Wu-Tang with being like big, huge group back
and
then
you
in
know
the 90s.
Flock because you Homie. I want this to be clear. Like when we say that, it's not no like
it's not
say that to throw their names around. Like they be with
and but you know what's crazy is that they pridefully are like throw it around. You know, like they wouldn't have a problem. But we also that's not how we carry it because that's not the energy behind it. Because it really is a family thing. And I think that's where the difference is between like all the other rap teams in battle rap that exist versus Team Homie is like this ain't no like battle rap shit. Like this isn't no like wrestling shit. You know, like this isn't no like no, this is family and this is and by saying that we're family like there's like we will bleed for each other and we've bled for each other. And so like it's a different level of like, camaraderie and like it's a brotherhood, genuine.
The brotherhood, like we're really
So,
brothers. I think and sisters because shout out to Sarah and all that. And we and I think that like I said, there's some powerful people involved, but we don't let it's just a bond, man. It's a brotherhood. Like everybody who's Team Homie, like we don't just accept anybody. It's not we don't care how good you rap.
There's hardly any space for that for like, oh, the new kid on the block is really good and he might become Team Homie. Like there's very little space for that. Like there's a
lot of there's mad dope battle rappers. They all know about Team Homie. They all want to be involved, but they not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it looks sometimes to people like they don't know, right? Like I think that like when people find out about like, oh, why is because Team Homie is like New York based, right? Like or according to people would think it's New York based, right? Because like
based.
Yeah, but like there's like guys in Team Homie like Xcel. He's right. He's from Brockton through Boston. There's Ill Will who's through Detroit. He's from Pontiac, Michigan. Mac Myron as well. Rum Nitty is from if I'm not mistaken, I forget where he's originally from, but he's from Arizona. He's out in Arizona, but like people would think like, impossible. So Team Homie, and it's like, no, it's not impossible. Again, people aren't familiar with like somebody like guys like Mac Myron and Ill Will are a perfect example of how easily you could connect it to like it being family, right? Because I don't want to tell Swave's story for him, right? But like definitely for sure, Swave won't mind me mentioning the fact that like Swave grew up going to Detroit. His father is in Detroit. So like Detroit's like his second home growing up. So it makes sense that one of the primary members would have a connection with like people in Michigan and in the like surrounding Detroit cities, you know, that like it goes deeper than like before cameras were around, before like battle rap existed. Like he would run into, it makes sense for Sway to know Mac and Ill Will from back then and from going, you know. So like it really is like a family thing, you know, like
family situation, man.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, because it looks like everything's a rap collective. There's a lot of rap collectives that are in the battle rap world that are different than leagues, which is more like rappers bonding together and shouting each other out is the best I could get from that.
Right.
But no, it makes sense. Like I guess it's like just that. Like
So there's Team Hami members that don't rap at all. They don't rap a lick. They don't rap at all, and they don't battle. They don't do none of that. But it's just a family thing, man. So if you part of it, you're part of it. Shout out to all the homies. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Niggas, man.
Oh, fair. That's a good answer. It definitely gives some context to what it is, and it also helps differentiate it from other things, right? Like, it's definitely not thirsty, which is always an interesting thing in this world.
No,
never. I feel like everybody in Hami would like, we die before it's like, what? Like never. Like the pride is very like.
Listen, first of all, to be a new member, it's like to get accepted. Like, first of all, you got it's a brotherhood, but every brother, we all share like things in common. One of them is we don't like nothing. FLACKO right there, like we could find a way to not like some shit.
I will find my way there. Let me tell you something.
Oh my word!
That
is very understandable.
You got me. You got Sway. You got Five. If you let my man Five get going, he'll make everybody not like some shit. And then that's just what it is.
Word.
Like, oh yeah, nah, he can't be down because of this. Like he'll change your whole opinion. So to be accepted amongst that, like you really got to be like part of the. You gotta be part of it. You gotta be of the cloth of that.
Of the cloth. Yeah, the cloth.
For real. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's something that Sway, you know, that's coined, that's a coined Swave and you know, Ike and Penn and them with the cloth, you know, like
you gotta be of the cloth to be like to get accepted in that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's Team Hami though. You know, shout out to my guys, man.
Shout out to the homies.
So does being part of Team Hami help you in battle rap?
Yeah and no, because at the end of the day, I don't really look. I don't ask them. I don't really. I'm not that type of guy. I don't ask them.
Let's not go from like a honestly, favors point of view.
I would tell you that no.
I meant it more like.
No, I know what you mean,
like,
Holden. And let me tell you, I think from my perspective, it's not as much of a benefit as it is. Like it is a benefit to us as brothers, right? But it's not the same thing as the way that the wave is in battle rap. And like if anything, like there's always been kind of like a energy around everybody in battle rap where they kind of want to take like somebody from Hami's head off, you know, to prove a point. Like it's like it's almost like you're the most hunted because you're the highest warriors. Yeah, like like everybody knows that at the end of the day, like how much of a fighter really are you? If you like you ever got in the ring with a Hami, you know, like more than likely not. And if you did, like I doubt you were successful.
Yeah, we the people everybody wants to test.
And so that makes it kind of where it's almost like there's a target. And like even the fans feel that way sometimes. I feel like looking at the fans and how they react, like they oftentimes say things like, "Oh, Team Hami's just a bunch of bullies. Oh, they just bullies. Like they bullies." It's just like it's not
We're
that's
not
not
bullies,
fair. Like there's no bullying happening. It's just, you know, what it is, you know? And so sometimes it might look like bullying, but like,
yeah, but listen, yeah, that's so it doesn't help. I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, it helps because, you know, we brothers and shit like that. And it helps in the sense that in certain ways you can have powerful people speak up for you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like Penn has spoken on my behalf a few times, so got and pulled some strings and shit like that. But at the same time, like he said, being Team Hami means that it comes with a certain, I don't know, people don't, it comes with a certain respect, but it's like they can still want to kill you.
Yeah.
And when they
I don't
always do extra.
Yeah, I don't want to make it seem like, you know, like a detraction, right? I think it's even a like when I say it, I mean it with like, I'm happy about that. Like I'd rather because it speaks to the energy and the cloth that like the team has, which is like, yo, this ain't no fake shit, and we really like, you know, be about it, and yeah, it does make people like step this shit up and makes them like really like and yeah, you're more targeted, but it's just like I'd rather be there. Like I'd rather be in the I'd rather be the hunted than to be the prey. You know what I mean? Like you go ahead and, you know, like I'll take the war, and if I take the loss that day at the war, like I'm fine with it. You know, like but like, you know, I don't think that everybody else necessarily always has that energy, and so I think that that's why Team Hami like has that, and it's a, you know, like again, that's a respect. Like that's like, yo, people are saying like, yo, like don't fuck like, yeah, like you could tell like nah, I'm going to be the best me I've ever been because I'm facing somebody in Team Hami, and I know that like there's a respect that comes with it, and so it's like, all right, cool, like, you know, while like other people might like benefit from not having that added pressure, you know, like that pressure, right? Like that we talked about with the camera. It's not that it's a bad thing, right? Like for those of us that like rise to the occasion, it's a good thing, but it's still a pressure, you know, so it's still a pressure. And so Team Hami, I think, is just another form or another added pressure, you know? And I think that that's like commendable, like for everybody in Hami to have that, where it's just like you have added pressure to like everything.
Yeah, you got to just standard you got to hold yourself to. I think that in itself, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking at the guys that's in your team, they killing shit and they coming out the house with crazy bars and shit like that, you can't come out the house with weak shit. You know what I'm saying?
So I appreciate the explanation, honestly, because again, this whole thing is like I'm kind of learning my way through battle rap. Like, like you're an intimidating fellow to battle against. Like your presence, like your chest movements and shit. Like I know it seems weird, but like you almost puff your chest out and shit, and do their toots and shit. You don't really do. You know what I mean? Like you run the whole like cinematical like fucking presence of it.
Yeah,
like,
it seemed like the consensus, right? When we were watching your battles before we even got in the interview, like before every interview, we like watch people's battles, listen to their music. You know, we try to go through some of their content, you know, while like the crowd gathers, and like Ishmael was in the comments and he was like, I believe he said, Xcel is intimidating, you know, which is like, you know, that's like that's a good thing. Like that, it's battle rap. Like it's not. This isn't like a flower. This isn't like a flower giving contest. Like you don't look at Xcel and think to yourself like, oh man, he's probably like, you know, really, you know, like it's not the energy you want to give off.
And when it comes to that, that's not. I think that's not something that for me, like when I battle, it's a natural thing. So so my presence and all that's not practiced and nothing like that. Like I grew up, like the memorization and the pace of what I want to say practice.
That's the practice.
But
yeah.
how I'm gonna say it and the emotion and what I'm gonna say, what it doesn't. So when people say that, I mean, I get that all the time, period, because of just, you know, how I walk around, you know what I'm saying? But I be chilling, man. In a battle, yeah, you're gonna get that because that's the energy you're supposed to bring.
But I love the way you're like carry it. You know, it's also because this is something I thought was interesting. You just are so willing to be like, that's a good bar, that's a fire bar. Whenever somebody drops that on the other side, and not everybody does that. And why are you so willing to compliment good bars when you hear them?
Because at the end of the day, I'm still a fan, right? So if somebody say some good shit, it's just like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Like even like if we joking back and forth, like I said, I grew up, you know what I'm saying? I got large family. I grew up, like I said, homies is my brothers. When you snapping, you can't get too mad at somebody snapping.
Yeah.
Like, somebody hits you with a good joke.
With a
like,
good joke,
you
gotta compliment them. Yeah,
okay,
you gotta be like,
that was good.
That was funny. That was actually funny, motherfucker.
I got you.
You know?
You know what I mean? Shit like that. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? When they good ones, and then some of them, if you a fan of hip hop and you a fan of just dope shit, somebody say something crazy, you can't help that shit. Be like, oh man, all right.
It makes me appreciate you a lot more. How you'll just basically invalidate somebody and then just like, yeah, but that's a good bar stills. You know, like it just makes the experience of watching your performance a lot more fun.
It was cool.
But like when you started like rising up with it, right? Like, can you get into this culture? What's it like with the social medias and everything? Like, do you have to be on social media promoting it? Or
no,
like...
for sure. You got to be on social media promoting. It's a crazy world. People say the craziest shit to you. You know what I'm saying?
Battle rap's got the craziest fans.
Battle rap got the craziest fans. It's not for the weak. You got to have tough skin. Like, you can't, because
that's why,
day,
yo, you see what he said? This is why I am how I am online. Because it's like, yo, battle rap made me like this. Because people, I've seen the worst of the internet. And I've gotten the worst. And it's just like, it makes you like, just like, so what's the big deal? It's like, it doesn't really matter anymore what people say, like, online. It's like,
and on top of that, right?
The craziest.
And people, because you battle rap, and which is a profession where people just say crazy shit to you, and that's all people ever see of you is people saying crazy shit to you. They, in turn, think they could say crazy shit to you.
Yeah.
Stop. And you're just supposed to take that shit. And they say shit like, yo, somebody said that to you on stage. If you can't take me saying this to you right, how can you handle it on stage? Like, nigga, I got paid to be on stage, man. Like it's a whole different. He's saying this to me because this is a sport. This is what we do. This is after this, me and this man's about to go smoke and talk about and watch the rest of these battles. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? It's different. But you definitely gotta have tough skin. You can't really get too engaged with, and you can't over battle, right? So you can't, unless you can't, don't over.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
What does over battle mean?
Like just battle anybody, anywhere for anything. If you trying to really like make moves and not stay stagnant, you gotta just like have a plan for your shit. Like wherever you want to go, figure that out early. Don't wait, because this shit will move past you.
I mean, I sort of get what you mean, but that's like, so like, what's a plan? Like, what would be like a
like? Let's say if you want to go the URL route, there's a specific course that you got to take to get on Smack and URL. So you do that. If you want to go King of the Dot route, there's a way about getting on King of the Dot. But at the end of the day, the goal, or RBE, the goal is to hit one of them 3 leagues and make a splash, make an impact to where they calling you when they have their event. Because if you can make a splash there, it trickles down. All the smaller leagues will keep you in. You know what I mean? Like, this is how it go. Like, if for instance, I go crazy on King of the Dot, whatever they have an event, Blackout, let's say whatever. I battle whoever. I go crazy on that. I have a great performance. I go crazy. Now King of the Dot might not have another event for 6 months. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just sit and chill? Now, because I've just been crazy, everybody's seen it. So that's going to get me bookings until King of the Dot has another event. You know what I'm saying? So on smaller leagues, because there's smaller tier leagues that, like he said, there's a billion fucking leagues, right? But not all the small leagues have the same value. Like there's the small league I battle on. I'm not even gonna call it small league. I battle on iBattle. It's fucking shout out to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I would say iBattle is like
league.
under the major leagues.
Yeah,
like
right there.
It's the league that leads you into all those leagues.
Right. So boom, I battle there because one, my brother owns the shit, and two, like Lex, he genuinely gives a fuck about the culture and shit like that. Shout out to Lex Luthor.
Shouts out to Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
Shouts out to him.
He genuinely gives a fuck about the culture. So I think if you have a plan, like, because at the end of the day, it's easy to get a name in battle rap. It's easy. It's very easy. You can fucking have one good performance and people will be calling you great. To keep your name relevant and consistent, that's tough. Not easy.
Because I was looking at the numbers, right? And it looks like, now granted this is over time, but it looks like not as many, like, I don't know if they're going up or down in general. It feels like they're on a bit of an uptick, but it feels like for a minute, all the numbers for all the individual battles are like plummeting a little bit because there are so many leagues and options available. Now, I know there's a lot of things like the URL app and the things that are kind of bringing it all back together, but do you find like something I've seen is there's a lot more frequent battles that seem to be happening? I don't know if that's just because of whatnot, but I feel like everything that I see with it is happening more fast, and the app is pushing all these battles like almost every day at me now. And it's like, do you feel like there's going to be a more increase? Plus, you guys were all rapping in those recent ones about how you're all doing like your third battle this week type thing. And
yeah, I think now it's a business, right? So I think now it's to the point where it's not going to stop. I think that what you see on YouTube now is everybody, because the URL was a big thing on YouTube, period, whether you like it or however they want to slice it. So when they took all that, they went to the app, that left a big ass hole.
Yeah.
In battle rap as far as YouTube drops and shit like that. So now everybody's running the drop on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You brought then you got battles like Hitman versus Cassidy. Whether you like it or not, it brought mad fans to battle rap. Because at the end of the day, if you've been in hip hop for a long time, you know battles have always existed. It is what it is. But battle rap as a culture is still fairly new. It's still figuring itself out. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that to where you're at, going down a rabbit hole, like you all right, man. You got Flock with you. He's the perfect guy.
I don't even guide him. I just let him fucking get lost in the wilderness and shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
He put guests in front of me that I have to look up, but no, a lot of it is just discovering, and then you get curious, and then you click on a thing, and then you're like, okay, I happen to really like Daylight. His whole shenanigans are appealing to me. Things like, I'm starting to figure out.
That guy can rap too. He's very talented.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to ask you about that. You said you were using battle rap to promote your music. Did your music stay like prevalent? Because I was like looking you up, and unfortunately Xcel and mixtape is not giving me the best results and stuff. And ask FLACKO.
I will definitely link you to some music. It stayed prevalent. It got more what actually happened was like it got me respect from people that I like grew up listening to, like, you know what I'm saying, like the Sean Prices, Styles P's, the Ransoms, the get like guys like that, you know what I mean, a bunch of guys. So with me doing that, it was just kind of like, okay, it validated what I thought, like, all right, word, okay, I'm on the right track, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it definitely helped my music for sure.
All I know is I heard the album that you dropped
Uh,
very recently, and it was great. It was
Shout out
like,
to my man Oblivious and Cloak and Dagger for all the beats and shit like that. My man Oblivious, yeah,
but y'all sound like wonderful together. Like that dropped, and I was listening to you rap on it, and it was like, I feel like I actually Googled if you were a Woo affiliate. I wasn't
No,
sure.
I'm not.
That's what I did listening to that shit. I'm not lying to you.
Hey, nah, I respect, I appreciate that, but
that's a compliment. Yeah, that's a compliment.
I love them. That's a legendary crew.
Yeah,
nah,
facts.
Yeah, shout out to Oblivious, man. We just did that. That's another guy. It's like he's like a brother of mine, man, and we just cooked up some shit, man. Shout out to he's very dope MC. You know what I'm saying? So we had some beats and we figured some shit out.
Ishmael in the comments asked, how did you link up with Napoleon?
Again, that's through my guy Oblivious. We was working on the album. The album came very organically. We was in the studio just fucking. We was at my man's crib again.
It's the only way to make music, baby.
Home studio situation. Home studio situation. My guy Matthias, you know what I'm saying? We was just there. And we did a song. We did like 2 songs. We did like 4 songs. Then we did 2 more. And then it was like, then he was like, yo, I can get Napoleon on this one. I was like, all right. I'm like, I'm not gonna say no to that. He hit him up, and then we sent it to him. He did it real quick. He did his verse, laid it down. That was it, and then it was lit after that. It was a dope song. Shout out to him. Called God Talk on the Ebony Ivory. He definitely did his thing on there. He's the only feature on there too, so shout out to him.
Yo, honestly, it's a great performance. I really like the album. It's been like linked in this thing, and it'll be linked in the description below. But y'all should like peep that. Like, I don't say that lightly. Like, I was impressed. Y'all doing some like shit that doesn't sound dated, but also sounds classic.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, I don't have a problem with the new kids doing like that's just not what I do. But them doing what they do. That's their sound, that's their shit. I try to figure out ways to impact them, right? So I might not do what they do, but I can still get my message across to them and still make me like, all right. And still can do it in a way that's still respectable to the cloth of people that I come from. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you know what I mean? So that's all. It's all about getting the message across and doing it in a way that I don't really have to compromise myself, because that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean?
I definitely respect that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you have coming next for you?
I'm finishing up a solo project right now. I got fucking called Godspeed. Cloak and Dagger did all the beats on that one too. I got Ransom on there. I got Guilty Simpson on there.
Ooh, he's got like a very distinct voice.
Yeah, Guilty. That's my guy. So that shit's about to be pretty dope. I got a couple battles lined up. I got something coming up soon. Can't really talk about it, but it's gonna be official. Trust me. When you see it, it's gonna be official. And that's that should probably take up most of my year. But we right back. We working. I'm always working, so it's like, I got a bunch of shit. I started this little podcast on Saturdays. Me and my man No Mercy, every Saturday morning.
Like the same No Mercy that got you into battle rap.
Yeah. He don't do so. he doesn't do the league as much as anymore. And I haven't battled in a minute, but that's like my brother. So we just decided to do a little show, talk some shit. Every Saturday morning and shit like that. Call us Chop This Fable podcast. Yeah, that's it, man. Other than that, I'll keep y'all in tune. Follow me on everything. Like Xcel God on Twitter, Xcel GAWD, and Xcel_508 on Instagram. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Ishmael asked one last question in the comments. He said, "Podcast focusing on battle rap?" ?
It's gonna be battle rap centered. Like we're gonna talk about battle rap shit, but it's gonna be a little bit of everything. Everything that happened, we got, what I'm saying, a lot of things be happening, and I don't want to keep it focused on just battle rap. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit, a lot of like the name of the show, perspective. A lot of things be happening, a lot of things happening. So we're gonna touch on everything, talk about a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. It makes it. I find like it's important to like look way beyond the craft, right? Like of the person.
Right.
So you have the battles, people can watch them and people can debate them all the time, but we don't often look at the journey or how people got there. Like what's really cool is that you have this consistent 8-year career of like still doing things to this day.
Right.
Like that is incredible. And that isn't even the start of it. That's just like when it got recorded.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And everything I do now is like because of what I did then. You know what I'm saying? And that's the dope part about it.
And it just like it adds a perspective too to anybody out there that is getting into anything, or I don't know, everybody's met that person that's 2 years deep into something and they're like feeling themselves, but they don't know about like all the other things that come.
Yeah, man. Listen, man, you just gotta keep man. You gotta keep going, man. Like don't stop. Like, man, no matter how crazy it gets, it's supposed to get crazy. That's just it. I look at it like when shit get crazy, that's just a test to be like, yo, how bad you really want this shit, man? Like, nigga, this shit we about to see. And sometimes you might not want it like you say you do, but if you want that shit, you gonna whatever it takes to get it done, we're gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? So I think that to stay consistent, just can't get like, listen, man, don't get too high on the compliments, because if you get too high on the compliments, the low shit, the disses will bring you down. So it's like I take it all the same with a grain of whether you like me, hate me, whatever. Man. I love it.
Don't get too high off the highs. Don't get too low off the lows.
And just keep going, man. Just ride it out, man.
Stay nice and whelmed.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Stay nice and whelmed.
Yeah.
We should say that a lot more.
Stay whelmed out. And you heard?
No, it's a good place to be. It keeps you focused. It keeps you in a place where like you have the confidence because you got a little bit of, you're not underwhelming, and then you're not overwhelming can be dangerous. But like the whelming, if you can keep yourself whelmed and let other people think what they want, that's the best place.
For sure. You good.
But yo, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing,
thank y'all for having me, man. It was definitely dope. Definitely, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with it, man. I'll definitely come back when I put out the music. We can talk about some more shit like that, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it's like really cool because like, I mean, going through battle rap while talking to battle rappers who've done battle rap is a very different experience than going through the YouTube comments.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
It's pretty blessed.
That's a fact. You get a better feel for the whole shit because you're getting it from the source. Yeah, that's dope.
And I get to learn along the way. So thank you for like just contributing to that and coming through.
You're already, man. And thank you for having me, man.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming through, bro. You already know.
Yo, follow me again on Twitter, Xcel God, XCELGAWD, and on Instagram, Xcel_508, man. Thank y'all for having me. For real, for real.
Bless, bro.
All right, bro,
Yeah.
bro.
And yeah, just shout out every end of the week for hosting us and keeping it down. Make sure to follow them on /EOWTV
Yep.
on all their stuff, or EOW.com for the website. And Joey, appreciate y'all being here with us for reals. Thank you, Liddy Bro FLACKO, for setting this up. And y'all have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone. Live long, prosper, and all that. Just give it a few seconds for the raid to end and everything.